Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aquarius. If Aquarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, Aquarius, let's get going. And so our card is the Knight of Swords, okay? Very, very sharp thinker. This is a mode when you are just absolutely on your game. You're quick, you're creative, you're innovative, you're swift, right? Very, very fast on your feet. Just kind of, I think of like people who can freestyle, right? This is like a Knight of Swords type of person. Just has that flow, has that ability to communicate in such a way that's just, enthralling, or at least gets the message through, right? So let's see what these tea leaves have to say. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Okay. So immediately I saw that we have, and also let me say, if you want to like the video, I would appreciate it, or leave a comment. Especially if you're new to the channel, definitely go ahead and leave a comment over there. Okay, so we have a coyote. Right here, you can see its legs, you can kind of see its body, its head, turning back and kind of looking behind it. Okay, now over to the side over here, we have, it looks like a person kind of sitting on a throne. Above them, it looks like we have almost kind of a lunar disc, or like the moon, right? It's usually, it would be the solar disc. But yeah, I guess the lunar disc as well. And it looks like the person sitting there kind of has the head of a goat. Okay, so I'm looking at this and I'm thinking these are really interesting archetypes kind of combined together, because really we have what looks kind of like the Hierophant, or a horned god, a wilderness god, this really, really strong and primal kind of connection to spirit, right? Not necessarily with all the pomp and circumstance of what we would think of like a high religion, maybe something like very complex and ornate, like Catholicism, right? With all of their kind of, and it depends. There are a lot of, different kinds of Catholicism, but generally kind of a very what's the word? Specific kind of aesthetic, or at least kind of generally there's an aesthetic, and you would think, okay, this is like a Catholic monk, or this is a Catholic priest, or, this is what I imagine a cathedral looks like, right? So not exactly that, right? This is kind of more of an ancient type energy, like a, maybe something similar to a nature religion, or spiritual path system. But ultimately, I feel like this is kind of like what we would call an old god, right? Now, we have the coyote, who is a spirit guide usually. Also a trickster, right? When the coyote starts showing up in your dreams, starts kind of hanging around, having little conversations with you, playing and, doing little tricky jokes and so on. we are encountering likely an entity that is some kind of spiritual messenger, right? I always think of when the coyote shows up, I know that I'm going to be going out into the desert. And that could be literal, right? Or it could be in a period of spiritual work, right? And what does going out into the desert really mean? This is a place where we go that feels kind of open and barren and a very arid place. There is not a lot distracting us from that divine that you could think of like Nuit, right? The cosmic mother, the cosmic grandmother. She is depicted in Egyptian artworks as being the sky, really, and she's blue or like a really dark kind of what's the word? Violet. She has stars all over her. She is the cosmos itself. She is the gateway to the cosmos. She is that which birthed, everything that kind of came to be within the physical. And so she is our connection to the divine. And when we go out to the desert, right, we are faced with this wide open and expansive landscape. The sky seems so much closer than it might somewhere else. We are, existing kind of in this duality, right? The kind of real sand and or the dirt that's really compacted and cracking or whatever. And it feels like a place that has little life. And then you look up at the sky and it's like, wow, there's infinite life there. And this feels like it is in stark contrast to one another. And yet they coexist. And you find yourself like a pearl, right? If you can imagine, like a pearl between the two places. And so I feel like this is a period of time where you're being kind of drawn out of yourself. You're being drawn out of your kind of regular routine, the things that you spend your time, the hours of your life doing, the mundane, the tedium, and being kind of it's not exactly the siren, right? The siren is kind of calling you to your demise, but yeah, being kind of in this enchanted mode, this kind of following the sweet songs of the wilderness, and finding your way out there, away from all of the hustle and bustle and sound noise and light noise and the busyness, the overstimulation, the responsibilities, the intricacies of social and family interactions and dynamics, and just all the stuff. It adds up, doesn't it? And kind of stepping into your own space. And maybe this is that you are getting in the car and driving out to, some kind of park, or taking a trip to, I wouldn't go to the desert right now. It's so hot everywhere. Maybe in the southern hemisphere, it is the months to visit the desert. But here in the northern hemisphere, it's hot, it's cooking. So maybe not the best time, but right. Maybe you're close enough, you're being drawn out to it. I used to live I'm from East Sacramento in California. And if you just get on 80 and go up through like Donner Summit and up through there into Reno and Sparks, and then you get out into Nevada, into the desert there, It is so beautiful at night. It is a magical experience to drive out there into the the unknown, right? Late at night. It's very beautiful. And I used to do that quite often when I was old enough to drive finally. I would take off with my friends and you know, whatever, and go exploring like space travelers, going to some lunar landscape or something. And so I just feel this pull for you. And it could be that this is really like you having a lot of dreams. You're kind of really in yourself. You find yourself maybe even kind of drifting into thought, contemplation quite often. Maybe even a little bit detached from the things going on around you. And and finding your way to this kind of really heightened spiritual state. And it feels like it is something that is burning inside of you. You know, there is a passion there. And that's a beautiful, beautiful place to be in, to be so inspired, to actually go and do the thing, right? And so we have the lunar disc, as I called it. But now as we turn it this way, it looks like a face, okay? Now we have the eye, we have the nose, we have the mouth kind of smiling. And it looks like... And I wonder if this is, because we also have another face over here with you can see the eye, the mouth. This looks more like a child. So I'm wondering if this is maybe like a father figure or grandfather, maybe an uncle, or somebody who kind of has been a mentor in your life. And it might be that they have transitioned. But I feel like this is somebody that really is very close with you. You think about them quite often. Something about having, maybe they gave you a puppy when you were young. We have a little puppy here. And I feel like this was almost kind of a person who was fairly like ornery. They just, I don't know, you know, people would kind of stay away from them. They're kind of always in a grump mood, not always like the kindest, or maybe they just really didn't talk a lot. They just kind of kept their feelings in. But the way that you related to them was, I think, a very close bond. And maybe it felt pretty special to be, you know, one of the few that they ever really let in, for you to get to know them. And so I feel like you learned a lot from them. A lot of who you are is because of the time you spent with them. They taught you how to do things. They taught you, you know, about life. They opened up your mind in a lot of ways to a variety of things. For some reason, I keep thinking like the sciences, like they were somebody that maybe was an engineer or interested in being, you know, maybe they studied engineering, but they never became an engineer type of thing. I think also strong in mathematics. I feel like they experienced the world through this paradigm, especially. And I wonder if you yourself adopted kind of a love for mathematics as well. And so I think this really kind of, what a influence, right, on you, on the way that you have lived. And here we also have a unicorn. So I kind of feel like this is like a really rare and special kind of relationship. You know, I think so often we have people in our life who are there, and we love them, we appreciate them, especially if they're people who are like our caretakers who raised us. But then there are people who we just absolutely connect with. Like, this is like a soulmate of a kind, right? You, I feel like, have traveled lifetimes together, and there's just such a belovedness and fondness, and so this is one of the really special people of your life, and I can understand why they're coming through, right? Because I think you look back and you think, I have never really connected with somebody again to that level, or I hope to be that person for my children or my grandchildren. And realizing the older we get, the more we realize that we only have so many opportunities to be so very close with people. You don't continually have a bunch of best friends, or you don't continually have a bunch of grandparents or whatever, whoever it is. And so when we do get into that place, it is special. It is so special. And I know that you recognize that here, definitely. Now, it looks like we also have a crab. Okay, we have a crab. It looks like we have a crab, and we have maybe it looks like a lobster. No, a fish. It's a fish. We have a bird and a fish and a person. Okay, kind of like walking. So I do imagine kind of this seascape, right? Being very drawn to the ocean. I also feel like there's a sense of really, really working hard towards your ability to like make money, right? Your business, your career, your work. I feel like at times you've probably used that as kind of a shield for yourself, right? You've done really good in whatever work or career path that you have chosen. And I think you've put a lot of time into it, of course. And I think to some degree that has been the thing that you used as kind of a reason to not really maybe explore certain relationships or friendships, or you just didn't have time to do things that maybe you wanted to do, or maybe you didn't want to do them and you use that as the, it kind of the buffer, right? But I do feel like this is like a different era of your life where maybe you're kind of looking back on the thing and thinking, like, what if I would have gone out with that person? What if I would have spent more time with my kids? Or what if I, whatever. And this is the trap, right? This is the mental trap. Going back and thinking, living in those past things, lamenting where, you maybe made some mistakes. So I feel like there really is this kind of, you could think going to the ocean, walking along the beach, contemplating life, contemplating what do I do next, right? So I feel like, yeah, there's a sense of maybe I should have done this back then, but now how can I apply that knowledge to my life in this moment, right? So maybe that does mean like going out of your way to go and see your kids, go and see your grandkids, spending more time, maybe courting people, dating, meeting new people, friendships, whatever it is, right? And maybe it's the opposite too. Maybe it's like you had a job where you were around people all the time for many years, and you like lamented not being able to spend more time with yourself, developing your interests, your hobbies, your your beloved things. And now time is opening up for you. And yeah, you're being drawn into that spiritual world. And now you can like gift yourself the ability to really immerse your life in this way of living, in this path that you are taking. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So don't just worry about it and lament the old stuff, right? Be active, be proactive, right? Do the thing. Get involved with some kind of practice, or go and see the people that you feel like you wanted to spend more time with. Like I said, take a break. Go live by yourself for a while. Do your own thing. Focus on your creativity and your, self-exploration and so on. I really feel like this next year is going to be such a wonderful time of growth for you. I feel like it's like there's no other way, right? Against all of the things going on in the world, against everything that is unknown to us and maybe a little bit frightening, or maybe things that we want for, we envy, put that aside and allow yourself to kind of just swim in wherever your intuition is taking you, really. Really immerse yourself in that living, in that path, and see how that works. What does it feel like to do the things that you've wanted to do for maybe years, and hopefully keep track of it, right? Journal it, write it down, paint it, draw it, whatever it is. Make some kind of beautiful thing of it. Okay, so we do have an arrow. We have the number 16. We have an arrow, but it looks like it's broken. So I wonder if there has been a love, or at least kind of a attraction or something like this, crush, or some kind of not a very involved courtship, but kind of a courtship. The beginning of really getting to know each other. I feel like there were maybe the little emanations of love happening, beginning to kind of grow. But I do feel like this is something where it's not going to work out. Okay. And I don't want to bring that news to you, but I also think that it's important, because sometimes we can get wrapped up in trying to make something happen where maybe it's not supposed to. And that can be a letdown, and it can feel like a failure or a heartbreak. And maybe it is a bit of a heartbreak, but I think it's for the best. Okay. I have this feeling that it's less about who the person is and more about you just wanting to be around somebody, or having somebody that you can talk to, that you check in with, that they check in with you, that kind of thing. So, I feel like this will pass. Of course it will. And it never doesn't hurt, right? Even if we don't really like the person that much, it does. It always kind of hurts a little bit, right? So I feel that there is some kind of revealing, because we have the illuminating light here. So like a candle, right? It illuminates the dark corners of things. And when this happens, I feel as this other thing ends, it was almost like somebody who is close to you, and we have the little heart right here. And I feel like their totem maybe is what is it called? A hummingbird, a little hummingbird. That might be like kind of the animal you associate them with, or they associate themselves with. But I do feel like, yeah, there is a love kind of bond there. And I could see that growing. So maybe as this other thing ends, there's kind of this realization that, hey, maybe my person has been here all along. Maybe this is like, or you've been in love with them for a while, and now it just happens to be the right timing. So I can see that there is kind of, something else there. Now we also have the number 21, okay? 21. And so I'm going to go ahead and flip through these self-care affirmation cards. And it says, infinite potential. I am flexible. I move my body in ways that feel good. My body is relaxed and at ease. I am healthy and strong. I stretch towards my infinite potential. I stretch towards my infinite potential. All right. Okay, Aquarius, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you, because I do. And I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, yes, do it. I'd love to hear from you, especially if you're new to the channel. Oh, I'm sorry. I need a drink here. Oh my goodness. Especially if you're new to the channel. I'm all dried out. I was outside. We're putting in poles into the ground, these 15-foot poles, so we can put up bat houses to get the bats living over here, eating the mosquitoes. This is our plan for combating there are so many mosquitoes. It's been such a wet summer that they're just, I've never ever seen a summer like this. It's just, I don't know, so many bugs. So we're putting out bat houses, and I've been outside doing that, pouring concrete and stuff, and oh my goodness, I am all dried out. And it's also very hot. I mean, I could complain all day. Don't let me get going. So anyways, yes, I just want to tell you again, I love you. And we'll talk in a few days. Definitely take care of yourself. Stay cool if you're in the northern hemisphere. It's been so hot. And if you're in the southern hemisphere, I hope you're staying nice and warm and comfortable. All right. Good night.